Hi, my name is Dr. Glenn Fink, and I'm the author of the new book, The Gospel, God's Great Undoing, Your Part in God's Unfolding Strategy from Creation Until Today. For those of you who are new, welcome. This is a series of videos in which I'm talking about the first part of the book where God created the universe and the scientific underpinnings behind that creation story, how people who believe the biblical narrative actually have a leg up on scientists at large. This time, I'm talking about distant starlight, how in the expanding universe we can see distant starlight from objects far away. Last time I talked about who is afraid of the Big Bad Bang, the Big Bang model, and that the Big Bang cosmology is a fair interpretation of the Genesis creation account as long as you don't take God out of the first cause. So this time, if Genesis is true, how can we see light from distant stars? All right, this is a really personal problem that I had for a long time, trying to understand how the creation account of Genesis can say that we have basically 10,000 years of history and the universe is billions of years old. So did God create the universe and wait billions of years and then create the earth? So it's a local creation story, or did God create all the light between us and them or something like that and put, so it gets messy and it doesn't make sense. And I thought about this for a long time and came across a great book on this by Russ Humphreys called White Hole Cosmology, and I'll talk about that in a little bit here. Here's the purpose that God made the heavens for. The heavens declare the glory of God, and the expanse proclaims the work of his hands. That's Psalm 19:1. The purpose of the heavens is to declare God's glory to his creation. He wanted us to see his glory. If he had just created everything in position all at once, we would still only be able to see a small fraction of what he made. Because although light seems to arrive instantaneously, it takes time to travel. Now, astronomers currently believe the farthest we can see in any direction is about 13.8 billion light years. If you could wrap a cord around the Earth's equator about 7.5 times, that would be 1 light second long. Now, if you line up 1,000 of those cords, and then stretch those 1,000 cords out 1,000 times longer than that, and then take 32 of those cords, end to end, you come up with about what a light year is. How much space light can cross in a year's time. Now, that's about 6 trillion miles, but I like to use illustrations like that because after about 1,000, our brains go, we don't really understand what a billion is or a trillion is. So if God created a star 13.8 billion light years away, that means that it would take 13.8 billion years for its light to reach us. So how can the Bible's account of a 6-day creation about 10,000 years ago be true? Well, let me give you an illustration. All right. Light is very fast, but not infinitely fast. I live about 2,400 miles away from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where the Declaration of Independence was signed. But if we could slow light down to, let's say, 10 miles per year, which is very, very, very slow, and if I had a telescope, I could see all the way into Independence Hall at Philadelphia from my house, then any day now, I would be able to bring you the breaking news that the Declaration of Independence is being signed, right? Light does take time to travel, fortunately not that long. Light's just another form of energy like sound waves. They move at finite speeds. Now, sound is fast, but light is much faster. If I could shout loud enough to be heard in Philadelphia, it would take 3 hours for my voice to get there at normal sound speeds. Light is really, really fast. It would only take a few seconds for me to get my voice to Philadelphia if I talk on a phone. So we don't see things as they are right now. That's the thing I want you to understand. We only see things as they were when the light that enters our eyes first left the surfaces of those objects. The moon's light is already a minute old. The sun, it takes 8 minutes for the light from the sun to reach our eyes. Light reflected off of Jupiter, about 30 minutes old. When you're looking at the stars, the bright blue star Sirius in the night sky, that light is 8 years old. I have no idea what might have happened to Sirius in the last 8 years. It could have been swallowed by a black hole for all I know. It might not even be there. But I'll never know for 8 more years because the light is taking time to get there. The light from our nearest large galaxy, Andromeda, is about 2.5 million years old. That's what it appears like from what we can see. And with the Hubble Space Telescope, astronomers can see the most distant objects as they looked near the dawn of creation. If God had created all those distant stars in position as they appear right now, it would have taken billions of years for the light to reach us. Even our own galaxy is 100,000 light years in diameter, and that means that in our less than 10,000 year history, new stars would be appearing the whole time, and we would by now only be able to see about 1/10 of the diameter of our own galaxy, and we certainly wouldn't be able to see any other galaxies out there. See, God wanted us to see all his glorious works by day 4 of his creation, when the individual stars were formed. By creating all the stars in close proximity with the nascent Earth and then stretching out the heavens, even the most distant of them left behind a trail of red-shifted light that we can still perceive today. We don't have to wait billions of years to see all the stars. They are all available to tell the story of God's greatness right now. So, some of these fingerprints that God left behind are actually troublesome for the Big Bang model and are best explained by the creation narrative, redshift, the cosmic microwave background, and the faster-than-light expansion of the universe, which they call inflation. These things don't have really good explanations in secular science. For now, I'll just give you the three examples briefly. When God stretched out the heavens, all the light we see from the distant stars has stretch marks in it that we call redshift. And the energy that was needed to stretch out the heavens in the first place is now uniformly spread out in all the directions of the universe, and very, very evenly. And it's visible with our telescopes now as the cosmic microwave background. And then finally, the common scientific interpretation of redshift is that it indicates the speed of the objects moving away from us. But that means that the furthest galaxy we can see, GNZ 11, appears to be moving away from us at 11 times the speed of light, which is physically impossible unless space itself is being expanded that fast. So these are signs left behind from the creation event. They're the fingerprints of God in creation, and science has helped us to detect them. But we'll talk in more detail about each of those in future videos and why they make more sense from a biblical perspective than from the narrative of modern atheistic science. So in conclusion, God made the universe with a finite light speed, and then he stretched out space faster than light so that we would be able to appreciate the story he is now unfolding in front of us. He wanted us to be able to see every part of our huge universe that he's made, and he wanted to demonstrate his goodness to humans, angels, and even devils, so that everyone would know his glory. Thank you very much for listening. Please like and share this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And wait for it, the gospel, God's great undoing, is coming out in the fall. Be sure to be looking for it. Thank you very much for listening, and God bless you.